So the married men are out here to play, and they're not letting on about their marital status, or the gentlemen, well, the men in long-term relationships are out here in these single streets trying to con the girls. But I got you, girls. I got you. I am going to give you the signs of whether your man is actually taken or not. This is something that's been happening a lot in the academy. I've been getting a lot of calls like this. And so I just want to give you some heads up, girls. And I want you to be awake, and I want you to be conscious of what is going on in the dating world. This is not a new phenomenon. This has been going on for time and eternity. But I will see you right after this. There are different types of married men or men in long-term relationships. Some just come out here and just say it. They just say, hey, I'm a married man and I like you and I'm about that life. My wife and I are in open relationships. We're about that life. I've been approached by married men who point blank told me, look, I'm married to the most beautiful woman in the world. We're open to whatever the situation is, and that's what's up. And of course, I've got standards. So of course, it's always been a very respectful exchange, because I respect any man that lives through integrity. That is his integrity. He's not trying to lie to anybody. He's not lying to his wife. He's not trying to lie to me. I've got to respect that guy, even if I don't approve of his behavior. I respect a man that just comes out there and says it and gives you the opportunity to say yay or nay. And usually these men tend to feel a sense of abundance. They're not desperate. They're not needy. They are quite happy to get a no from you and move on. And some of them have become friends. And when I say friends, I say it lightly. They've just become people that I have been working with, helping them through their traumas, and pleasant enough people. And we can talk about the women that are permissive to this behavior, maybe in the Black Swan app. So we will have a conversation in the Black Swan app, because it won't do well on this algorithm. All right, so how are we going to be able to tell if the man we're seeing is actually married? So here are a few telltale signs. Now, obviously 1 or 2 is not enough. You want to make sure that you have at least 4 or 5 of these in the package. And I'm going to tell you the first sign that you know your man is taken is that instinct of yours. Yes, it's that instinct of yours. Something tells you fundamentally something is not as it should be. It's just not feeling right, because lies have a certain kind of energy and truth has its own energy as well. And when you are being lied to, there's something heavy in that energy. There's something that doesn't quite sit right with you. You can't negotiate the rationale, but something is not sitting right with you. So number 1, listen to your gut. Your gut never lies. If you think he's married, 99.9% of the time he is. Okay? The only thing you need further is evidence. And we don't want to get caught up in snooping, because we know that is not a high value protocol. But just observe. The signs are usually there. You don't even need to get into his phone. You don't need to snoop. You don't need to hire a private investigator. Usually the signs are there. So listen to your gut. If your gut tells you this man is taken, chances are he is taken. Now, some of the things that married men will do on dates is, if he takes you out on a date, usually dates happen at home in your house. He wants to really escalate everything very quickly. I mean, but so do single guys that want to escalate really quickly. But you will find that when you do go on date, he doesn't eat very much or at all. Some men know that they cannot go home full, because their wives are going to be like, where did you eat tonight? So they have to go home hungry. They have to go home hungry so they can be like, oh, I'm famished. What did you cook? And then the wife kind of feels comfortable. Or they've already had dinner with their wife, so they're actually full. So wifey's cooked and they've told wifey they're going off to play football or they're going off somewhere, and she doesn't suspect anything. So watch what he's eating. Single man who is taking a woman out on a date, he's going to be eating. Like, men eat. They do. They're not about that salad life. They're not about the whole I'm so full. But obviously this is very nuanced. You know, it's on the first date. You know, some men don't because they maybe invited out for drinks and they kind of ate before they came out for drinks. And then they might offer to have dinner with you later because maybe you might be hungry, but they're not hungry. But that's kind of a different scenario. We're talking about you constantly going on dates with your man and he never eats. He will take you to restaurants, but he won't eat. Okay. Or he will eat an appetizer, and you can tell that he's an eating man. Okay, so that's one small clue. All right, if it's a pattern and it happens repeatedly, it's not just a one-off scenario. Number two, when you guys are intimate, physically intimate, he never ever stays over. He will always leave maybe an hour, a few minutes after intimacy, because he's got to be in his LTR's bed. He's got to be in his wife's bed. That's what's up. He's got to spend the night in his wife's bed. And there is a decent time that a man must get home if he is married. So you're going to find a pattern where he never, ever sleeps over. Now, of course, I know that there's some men that circumvent this because, of course, I've heard all kind of stories. I've heard men who will literally spend a whole weekend and let the woman believe that, you know, he's spending all this quality time whilst he's told his wife is going on a business trip. So there are some guys that are sophisticated with this whole situation. I mean, they got this unlock and key. But most of the time, a married man who is just using you for sexual intimacy or emotional support, because yes, men do cheat for emotional support. Yes, you know, if wifey is at home and she's not giving him a holding space for his feelings and emotions, he will find somebody who will. So, you know, that guy, he's not staying over. He just doesn't need the drama. So he's going to say he's got an early start tomorrow. There's always going to be a reason why he cannot sleep over and be there the next day. Or if he does sleep over, there's a reason why he can't spend the rest of the day with you. He always has to dash somewhere after intimacy.
Simple steps to join Black Swan community. Download the Black Swan app from either Google Play Store or Apple Store. Launch the app and tap on register. Put in your valid information, then tap and continue. Put in the verification code sent to your email to authenticate your account. Then log into your account. Be sure to accept all permissions displayed at installation stage to enjoy all the cool features in the app. You can now enjoy a community of high-value women with support from coaches and trainers. Book calls with coaches, chat, post, and interact with the community. Enjoy.
He never, ever picks up his phone after a certain time. You can never reach him. He will never speak to you. He will give you quality time within a certain amount of time, but there's always a time of night or day you cannot reach him. So you know that if you were stuck in the middle of nowhere, half dead, he's not the guy you can call. You can call the popo, you can call AA or whatever your kind of rescue services, but this man is not available to you between certain times. You've almost got used to it. You kind of know it. The next one is he's never available for weekends, usually weekends or definitely holidays. He's never going to be there for Thanksgiving. He's never there for Christmas. He's never there for anything. But if it's a public holiday, he's never there. He always has a reason and excuse. He might bring a gift the day before or the day after, but he is never there. He might come on the actual day, but he'll come late. So if it's Valentine's Day, he will come late in the evening with your flowers, but he won't come at a decent time where you can actually do anything, and he will have an excuse. So holidays and special occasions and special holidays, those belong to wifey or to the long-term girlfriend. So this is standard issue. There isn't a woman, a side chick or anything who will not tell you that her time is never on special holidays. I think it's quite sad. Okay, next one is you will never be introduced to anyone that matters. Okay, so you may be introduced to his friends because men cover for each other and they'll kind of cover that for each other. You may be introduced to maybe male relatives. Again, they cover each other's backs on that whole thing. But you never really meet the sister or the mother or anyone significant in the whole dating process. You never, ever meet those significant people. A man that is married is not going to bring you to those significant people that would be like, what's going on? Why are you cheating? He's always going to bring you around his friends because his friends are going to cover him. And sadly, men reward each other or applaud each other or support each other's infidelity. It's a shame, but it is what it is. So if you've never met any close relatives, you got to be careful. Next one is dates are usually always at your place or in your area with your friends around your side of town. This is really obviously important because he can't be seen in his usual haunting grounds. So definitely tries to keep things very much on your side of town, dates on your side of town. And you've never actually been to his house. If you have been to his house and you see pictures of a woman or whatever, it's usually a cousin or a sister who's come over with her husband. And you know that you're never allowed to just pop around. You can't just pop around. So most men who are married are going to give you the whole, I live with my cousin. I've been recently divorced. I'm recently separated and I'm living with relatives, so I can't be bringing girls home. I want to respect my room, you know, my relatives, my family, or whoever I live with, so you can't come. The whole can't come home thing is enough. If he can come to yours and spend time with you, you can go to his. End of story. Period. And if there's a cousin, an auntie, a sister, or friend, you'd be more than happy to meet them. And then, of course, he doesn't like to have photographs taken with you guys. He's going to make funny faces when you're trying to take a selfie with the both of you, or when you're on somebody. He doesn't like photographs, doesn't want to be in the photographs. And if he is in the photographs, he's making a funny face. He's distancing himself far, far from you, so he could just be somebody in the background. He's creating a scenario where there's no hands-on, there's no holding you, there's no touching you. He's not marking you in that picture. He's just coming like he's just somewhere. And you can tell that the vibe is out the window the moment there's a picture of the two of you. He will let you take a picture of him by himself doing stuff. Happy to do that, but no couple pictures. Okay, no pictures of you and him in any kind of romantic setup. He has to be able to explain anything, and of course he won't have you post him, or he won't post you, you know, because that's just too crazy. And last but not least, you cannot show up unannounced at his house ever. So even if you know where he lives, you always have to give him a heads up. You always have to. Now, don't get it twisted. I'm that sort of person. I don't really like random hellos. Obviously, if you're my man, you can show up to a degree, but I at least need an hour to get myself together, you know. But, you know, with him, it's never. You can never ever make an unannounced visit. This, again, is problematic. I mean, look, some men have found a way to make sure that none of these pieces come together because they're expert at this. And a lot of men who are cheating on their spouses are often cheating on their spouses with multiple women. Sometimes a woman can feel like, oh, was I alone? No, they usually 2 or 3 of you, depending on how much money he has, because dating is expensive. And the reason why he wants to escalate sex really early, even in the texting period, is because he wants to only entertain you in your bed. So, you know, these men are particularly difficult to detect quite early, but your gut will tell you. And usually if you listen to your friends, they'll tell you too, because often your friends are like, that's a bit bizarre. You haven't been to his house and you don't, what's his Instagram? You know, he doesn't let you in on any of his social handles. And I'm not talking about early dating. I'm talking about, you know, when you're now in a relationship and you understand that he's got an Instagram, but he doesn't let you in on it. So all of those things coupled together, put together in a bowl. And honey, you are dating a married man, and the day you find out is going to be very, very painful for you. It's going to be really painful for you, even if you find out 5 years later. I know women that have found out 3 years later, and some women will find out 6 weeks later, or, you know, 4 months later, 7 months later. It's very painful because you feel like a fool. You feel like, how did I miss it? The signs were there. People who lie leave a trail. Truth and lies leave a trail. They always leave evidence. So all you have to do is listen to your gut, lean back into your feminine energy, and just observe the way that he moves. And it will show up. It will show up in the light. It will show up. And of course, if you don't know, call a coach. Let's talk about it in case you're being anxious and maybe you're acting out of trauma and you think he's cheating when he's not, and you're not sure, and maybe you've gaslit yourself or he's gaslit you. Call a coach, and we'll be more than happy to have the conversation with you and walk you through it and sort of look at what you're going through. Like I said, this list is not exhaustive, but it's really pretty standard issue. Like, it's pretty much how it goes. I hope that this video was really helpful. I'll see you on my next one. In the meantime, do take care of you. I love you lots. Bye-bye. Well done for coming to the end of this video. What I want to ask you is, what have you learned? What is your takeaway? And what are you going to start practicing right away? Those 3 things are how you are going to get the best out of every class here at the Black Swan Relationships Academy. Please put it in the comments so that we can all have a look. So I can have a look, the coaches can have a look. And I promise you, we read every comment. We may not be able to reply to every comment, but we read all the comments and we want to see how you are growing. And we will see you on the next video.